Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is for The Walking Dead, Season 11, Episode 2. Episode 2, I'm not even sure what these episodes are called, but this is the second half of the season premiere. It should have aired as one big, long episode, but we'll get into that in a second. We're back again this week to talk about another episode of The Walking Dead. And of course, I'm not alone. I need to talk to your supervisor, and the best person to take with me when I have to talk to the supervisor is Joe Dirty Locks. Welcome, Joe. Welcome to the show.
You don't want to take me to the supervisor. Let me tell you that right now. Ask Nick how that goes.
No, that might end up being a mess. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. There we go. Here we go. We're back at it here. And we're not alone, of course. We have with us the live motherfucking chat here with us tonight. We got Tim F., Jason, Corey, and Atari Dad, and a bunch of other people that will be popping in and out during the evening to talk about this episode of The Walking Dead. Now, right off the bat, before we get any further into this episode, I gotta say it because I know it's trivial and it's weird, but I feel like if they had edited this a little bit better as one episode altogether, you could have had something here. You didn't need to do the fake out with Maggie. They fixed the Maggie thing within 5 seconds of the episode happening. So why did you even do that? Why did you create that fake tension?
Oh no. That was another dumpster.
It was.
Right?
It was just another dumpster. We were so worried about Maggie and so worried about that situation, or no one was. But I feel like they could have done it in a better way to make it more something. Just make it more compact, because I feel like there were certain elements in this second half of the episode that I didn't hate. In fact, this episode gave me one of the only, in a very few amount of times that I get a Walking Dead feeling. And you know the scene I'm going to talk about, and I actually felt...
I have no idea which scene you're going to talk about. I really, I'm lost on what scene you could.
You're lost about what scene. The scene when Maggie lets the dude die on the train. I feel like that was an actual...
Right after, we had a moment two moments last episode where they're just going to watch what's-his-name struggle and possibly die too. So he lets Maggie possibly die during her struggle. And then immediately following that conversation, we have another party who we're just going to let die instead of help. Like,
and they did have
all over the place. Come on. It's like...
And they did have a chance to save him. They had plenty of time. It was a slow motion moment.
Those zombies kicked down the door anyway, right? And here's my point. This is another example of, well, let's just creep by all the zombies, let the zombies freak out, let's all panic, and then all the important people will walk out alive anyway, instead of just going in and clearing. Like, we don't have enough bullets to get through them all, but yet somehow they did. Even Daryl comes back with a gun and finishes them off. But they're fucking filing down a subway train that's big enough for one person to get down that center aisle, one zombie at a time. Their bullets are taking out 3 at a time. It's fucking ridiculous.
I thought it was great that
they're going to pile up enough zombies. There'll be a wall of zombies they can't get by, and they'll just be even more easy to pick off.
I love how they didn't. They talked about how they couldn't break in there because they didn't have enough. Like you said, they didn't have enough bullets to clear, and they ended up having to clear anyway. So they basically just killed that guy for the fucking hell of it.
For fucking no reason.
For no reason, because he dared question Maggie's leadership in a situation. And I'm sorry, I'm messing around with the chat box situation, so it looks a little different tonight, but we're getting some technical difficulties out of the way. And thank you so much to everyone for checking us out tonight. If you want to get your voice in, we already have a couple of voicemails waiting for us. If you want to get your voice in the conversation right now about this episode, season 11, episode 2, on the final season of The Walking Dead. If you want to get your thoughts in the discussion, please pop it in the comment section or in the live motherfucking chat, or calling in at 781-990-8509. Again, 781-990-8509.
You giving out chat lines?
Yeah, the hot chat line. And you too might be able to talk to the girl of your dreams and then meet her someday, and all you have to do is frown like an idiot. Okay, I want to get to the point where I talk about something that pissed me off in this episode or annoyed me. Eugene just annoyed me up and down throughout this whole episode. His one expression that he has on his face when he's feeling scared, yeah, I can't with it. It was very annoying, and it was tough to stomach, and I didn't like it.
I see. Phil, let me ask you. So we're gonna go through this. Let's go through this. What did you like about the episode?
Okay, I like that scene that I'm talking about right now that you immediately poo-pooed. I like the scene that when Maggie lets him die, because for a moment, in a sense, I felt like they actually got to what is decent about The Walking Dead when you get into these human situations where someone's on our team, and then in a moment when he is a detriment, like on the movie The Beach, when everyone's happy-go-lucky and then the dude gets hurt and you have to kill him because he's yelling.
No. This guy was no longer on our team. This guy robbed us.
Yes, he did rob us.
And took off with two other guys.
So you say knife to the back of the head of this guy. You felt nothing.
I'm saying there was no choice about opening or leaving that door closed. You leave it closed just because the guy fucking robbed you. He robbed you and he ran away with a bunch of the supplies that you were going to need to get through this, instead of just staying with the bigger crowd with all the ammunition and getting through it together. Like the people that ran away, they all died, right? Am I
wrong? Yes. As far as we know, all the people that ran away did die.
Yeah. So there you go.
And
this guy, and like they tried to make it an illustration to the point that was being going on between Maggie and what's his name, but it doesn't really pan out because this dude fucking robbed them. So yeah, okay, he was your friends, everybody, but as far as this dude outside the door was concerned, 5-10 minutes ago, he was willing to let us all die down here instead of helping us and get to help everybody else back at camp. He was all about himself, and he can stay that way outside the fucking door.
Knife to the back of the head. Let's get into the Phil review clickbait. Thank you, Corey. I hope one day I can become clickbait again. Atari, good to see Atari Dad in there. Lord Corliss Lightfire in the live motherfucking chat. Great to have you here. Atari Dad says, what I did like about that scene was the Gage clearly gave some thought to avoiding dying by getting eaten alive. I feel far too many people plan for that. So he let the guy cut.
Was he dead before they started?
Yeah, I think he slit his neck. He was able to start to bleed out.
Well, then why did they start eating him?
Because there's still blood and guts on the ground.
But he's dead already.
But it doesn't matter. They still want to eat the flesh.
No. And then when he got up, he didn't look.
So wait. We got to go back. Joe, we got to go back.
When he got up, did he even look like he had been ripped apart at all?
Okay. No. Do we see him get back up?
So he killed himself with a stiletto to the heart twice through his rib cage.
Perfect. He had the strength.
Okay, great.
Let's forget about the Tupac and Tim Roth movie when we saw what happens when someone tries to actually stab someone.
And like killing the slow moving fucking like I'm still confused about.
But wait, Joe.
It's so hard to kill these things.
I'm a little confused here. Wait.
Shut
the fuck up, Joe, for a second. Shut the fuck up, Joe. I have a question for you.
And you're still freaked out by these fucking things.
No, I have a question for you. So are you speculating or saying that the zombie will no longer eat the flesh if the human's dead already? No, they eat the flesh no matter what.
That's not even like.
I want to go back to that because that point was ridiculous.
Okay, yes. Okay, fine. That's what I'm saying. All right, I'm wrong. Wonderful. Let's move on. Why is anybody still scared of these fucking things? They're like, oh, we can sneak by whole fucking warehouse rooms and sneak down these tubes. But as soon as they start moving, it's this big fucking panic. Instead of just walking up behind all the fucking quiet sleeping ones and putting a fucking knife in the back of the head or a spike in the back of the head or a staff
obviously it's not that
or whatever. It's fucking stupid at this point. It's stupid. Let's sneak halfway through and then let's sneeze. Can somebody sneeze or maybe kick a rock, break a branch? What else can we do halfway through? Maybe a drop of blood anything like sharks in the water. Yeah, that'll be cool, right? Like anything else that we could put them in a minefield of zombies and have them all wake up and it all of a sudden be a big fucking issue instead of them just fucking solving the issue before they go in.
To your point, it does seem like the scenes in some points are being designed in the way of like, what can we do that is cool? Let's get to a couple of live motherfucking chats before they
like,
slip by.
To the point where they had to do the Daryl gunfire scene, where they were like, "Oh, we'll just follow him from outside, and he'll waste all his bullets on the first fucking zombies that aren't paying attention to him at all." Instead of firing his gun, making whatever's in front of them turn around to face him, he could have used his knife the whole way up the fucking train. But no, he's got the gun. Well, let's have him waste the fucking clip of bullets.
Oh, because we need
after acknowledging that we lost the bag of ammo. That fuckhead on the ground that lost it. That fuckhead on the ground that stole the bag of ammo lost the bag of ammo.
The guy's Monroe Clark, the famous volleyball player from that movie Side Out, was the dude. That was C. Thomas Howell was the older guy. Anyways, let's get to the live chat for a second here. Atari Dad says, what I did like about that scene was, Jason Voorhees, I can't wait to play your epic voicemail. Don't hype it up, otherwise expectations are not met. I watched The Unholy and I can't get Negan out of my mind. We'll get into this. We got Dwarf Burger, final season, probably 3 seasons too many. Merle is here. Phil, I'm here. Start the show over again. My hype is reverse psychology, says Jason. Lord Corliss says, good point, Eugene. It was hella annoying. He really doesn't even need to be doing Talking Dead anymore, says about Chris Hardwick. Eugene faked it the whole time as the cure guy for how long? But he's sweating like a pig hair? Yeah, Lizard, it seems like all they can do with him now is, again, those two faces that he can make. Either, then I'm here, or the... his scared face, it's his scared face that annoys me. It's his actor scared face, because he doesn't have any, like, there's no subtlety to it. It's just like actor, I forget the guy's name, McDormand, or whatever. Make your scared face. And he just goes, and he just holds it the whole time. Like he's frozen. Like he's in one of, like you're in the Museum of Science, a museum where they do that electric thing where it stops and it freezes and you're like frozen in one place. Eugene's face is frozen with that stupid fucking look in his face that I just want to slap. I just want to slap him. I don't know why. But Atari Dad says, Gage was the guy who bullied Lydia and Henry, so he's kind of been a dead man. Chalkboy, she was giving a reason not to kill Negan by killing Gage. She made a decision like Negan did by leaving Maggie for dead. Oh, so Maggie did it to make a point. Eugene is a bitch, says the Daywalker. I thought he had been at level 3 for some time now. Yeah, he had guts all over him. Negan is like Tony Soprano. Just when you start to like him, he does something douchey, says Chalkboy. It only takes a few minutes to turn out before they lose interest. Oh yeah, Phil, I recorded something for you and Joe. Oh, I cannot.
What did he do that was douchey?
Which one?
What did Negan do that was douchey? Just when you start to like him, he does something douchey. What did he do that was douchey?
In this particular...
The fucking bitch that didn't help me save this kid's life. And then when I struggled,
do you know what Negan
helped me save my life?
So
I killed her husband, and there was this big war thing, and she wants me dead. So I'm just gonna leave her be. I'm not gonna save her life.
So are you saying it's not
gonna make a difference?
Did you generally? I know it's hard to get you to say you like things about The Walking Dead right now, but would you say in this episode has Negan at least been consistently the best thing on the show right now? Can you at least admit to that?
But what are you talking about?
Jeffrey D. Moore,
or the way he's written?
I think both. I think he is the only one that they give him the dialogue to point out the stupidity of what's going on in the scenes. And I feel like, I don't know if it's within the actor's performance, but there's some sort of way that he is almost talking to the audience, telling you what we're seeing is stupid here by making these comments here and there. And with Daryl and the gun scene, Joe, I've talked about this before. I want them to do more of that. I want them to have if they're going to do a scene like that, I want them to up the stupidity of it, where Daryl just goes in there with a handgun and doesn't even try.
No, hey.
Doesn't
hey,
even
I'm
try
fine
to
with
aim
Daryl.
and just shoots everyone like in one
he
shot.
Shot them all perfectly.
One shot, and then he used a knife in one shot, knifed them while he was running
he should
through.
have started with the knife. That was the point. He should have started with the knife. It's not scene necessarily. It's how the scene gets written out.
No, and I'll go a step further, Joe. It's not even just how the scene gets written out. It's that when you have one moment when you're trying to show something, and I know we're in a zombie world, nothing is real here. But what I mean is
also like, what is it? Like the raid, or maybe not the raid, but oh boy, not oh boy. What was that movie, Katie?
But anyways,
Big Brother, fucking Josh Brolin remake movie. God damn it, that's gonna really piss me off. The remake of a Korean movie where they just one big long like down the hall, he's fighting with a hammer and shit, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and I think they could have done that in a fun way, but The Walking Dead, it's the antithesis of itself sometimes, and it creates these moments where it tries to take itself seriously, and it tries to go deep for whatever reason it wants to go deep, and then on the opposite end of that, they have a scene where Daryl's just running down and stabbing people in the head like he's playing volleyball again, like he's spiking a volleyball and no one can get hurt. And this show, okay, something like Sons of Anarchy, towards the end of it, or not even from the very beginning, I'm doing a recent rewatch of the first couple of seasons. When people shoot at our heroes, it just bounces off them and doesn't touch them at all because they're not in a real world. So it's a fake world where all our characters from the beginning set up a world where they're bulletproof. In The Walking Dead, it wasn't like that at the beginning. And part of what made The Walking Dead awesome was that it wasn't like that anybody could go at any time. You set up these moments in this episode where you're supposed to have tension, or last episode to miss Maggie or some shit like that. It's fucking bullshit because you created no tension, because I don't believe any of these characters are dead. Who do you pick to die? A red shirt. It's like I'm watching Star Trek The Next Generation here.
To your point, and a little bit against your point, when The Walking Dead started, okay, the only character or two maybe we knew were bulletproof if you hadn't read the books was Rick, right? Like,
and Carl,
and maybe Carl and his mom to a point, right? But when it came down to it, everybody was new. So you didn't know who was going to be at Maggie's farm. You didn't know who was going to make it to the prison. You didn't know who was going to make it, to Alexandria. And then it just became, of course you do, because there's only 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them fucking left. So you know that, maybe towards the end of a season, you might get one of them fucking off. Or 2 at the very beginning of a season after you mourned them for 6 to 8
maybe
months.
If there's like a big crazy awful setup. Okay, so let's get through a couple of these chats before we get into this episode,
because whatever they have to say is definitely going to be more interesting than whatever the fucking Walking Dead was about.
I think it's going to take a few minutes before they lose interest. Oh, Phil, I recorded something for you and Joe. I can't wait to hear it. We got Emerald Eyes. Great to see Emerald Eyes in here for the first time. I don't recognize that name. Welcome to the chat. And why haven't the zombies crumbled to dust by now, asks the Dwark. Lord Corliss.
They're all waterlogged. When they get rained on, man, they have the osmosis, that shit.
Yeah, it fills in the gaps there. I'm really enjoying Joe's rant a little bit earlier. They stopped eating if they turn. Not exactly what the logic is here. Maybe the virus triggers a gag reflex or something. Gotta say, though, the idea of the zombies eating each other even after turning is pretty goddamn hilarious. So some zombies prefer fresh organic meat, not dead processed meat. Resting scarred face. Then we get constipated.
How would you have a horde then? Like, the hordes would make no sense. They'd all have just eaten each other.
It's true. No, but so exactly at what moment does the person turn? I guess if they haven't turned yet and there's still a dead body, the zombies will eat it. Because we've definitely seen people die. As they're dying, the zombies are ripping them apart.
And we see them eat like dead animals. They're like
feasting
on dead animals.
And we know that sometimes it can take hours for a body to reanimate in some ways.
But he turned really fucking quick, huh?
I guess. I mean, if he even turned, or that was just
maybe they were going by Game of Thrones time, and it was actually like a week in the subway.
It's true. Maybe they used Littlefinger's time machine or some shit like that. Frickin' zombies. Hey Phil, sorry I'm late watching Hurricane Ada. She's tearing up my stair now. Lots of love to Tamara Anthony. Hopefully you and everybody stay safe during the hurricane. Appreciate you checking in. Great to see you, and sending you lots of love from Joe and I. Atari Dad says Eugene's scared face vaguely reminds me of Matthew Fox's intense face in Lost. Jack, I don't know. Yes, it is quite similar, except Jack had a little bit more subtlety. All we have is rain and wind, but down south it's really bad. Hopefully you and everyone stays very safe. Lizard says, I think they let the guy die in the train because he brought nothing to the table. The dog could carry the gear and not run away from a fight. He wasn't fighting at all. He wasn't doing shit.
Right? All he did was stab himself in the heart rather than get bitten. Like it was supposed to, what a way to die. No, I'm going to tell you a ghost story on the dark and spooky train now. Maggie, you think you're special. Everybody here has been alive for 10 years in the zombie fucking apocalypse. We've all seen some pretty horrific shit. I happen to have think that was pretty nasty way to go, looking at who was supposed
that
to be
story was such a we'll get to that story later. That story was a dickhead move. That was such a one-upsman. We've all been in the bar with that douchebag. You tell a story that everyone feels and they're like, "Oh, that's an interesting story, but you know what happened to me, Joe?"
What's really scary, matey.
Yeah, Joe, you want to hear my story? You think that's fucked up? My work, you dealt with human shit. I dealt with 10 dogs diarrhea, dude. My job's horrible. You know, it's like, shut the fuck up. So just let someone have their moment. Don't be afraid to let someone else have their goddamn fucking moment. You'll have yours. Not everything has to turn into that scene in Lethal Weapon 3 when Rene Russo and Tom Hanks and Mel Gibson are showing scars to each other. I think that's in Lethal Weapon 3. Okay, the only thing that Joe liked about this episode was the closing credits, says Ian. Phil, I know you... Don't you know that Daryl sucks? The Walking Dead needs more boobies. In Star Trek Next Generation, it was yellow shirts, not red shirts. You are correct. Red shirts were command on Star Trek Next Generation. The red shirts were in the old show. We go back a little bit of tension in Fear the Walking Dead when Garrett Dillahunt's character got killed off. Would spoiler warn that, but no one gives a shit about Fear the Walking Dead. No, I'm sorry. Someone gives a shit about Fear the Walking Dead. Sleeping bags zombies right up my alley. So they're gluten-free. If in Fear they tested at all factors. Okay, so we ended all that. Let's play. We got Atari Dad's, it's Jason Voorhees' voicemail here. So let's play this voicemail and listen to what he's got to say about this episode.
And now a dramatic reread of Maggie telling a story. So, I was walking around the field, and I came to this creepy old house. And I went into the creepy old house, and I saw these deformed things on the floor. And then I heard a voice saying, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna eat you. Yum, 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 yum." And I got weirded out. So I walked up the stairs. And I found a zombie laying on the floor with chloroform. And I was confused. And I heard the voice again say, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna eat you. Yum, 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 yum." And now I'm really kind of wondering what's going on. So I went to the top floor. And I opened the door. And there was a man with no arms and no legs sitting on the toilet trying to pick his nose going, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna eat you. Yum, 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 yum."
Is that how it ended? Shit.
That's how it ended.
Oh my
That's
god.
how it ends for Maggie.
That is definitely how it ends for Maggie. Holy shit, Joe. It's pissy pants time right now for you and me. It's time for us to put our big boy pissy pants on because we got the man himself, the legend himself in the live chat right now, Negan. Negan is actually in the chat right now. We better watch out or we're going to get Lucille'd up our asses. But we get the man and the myth himself. Negan is in the chat right now. He says, "Hi, I'm Negan, and I'm scared." So we better compliment Negan's performance in this episode. Another way of how he slimed his way out of Maggie killing him once again. So let's get into this. Let's not waste any more time because I know Joe can't wait to talk about this. Let's get into this recap. Okay, the recap of this episode of The Walking Dead. Now, They built up some serious tension at the end of last week's episode. Built it up to a big cliffhanger where we see Maggie literally fall off a cliff of some kind and fall to her death, potentially. Really, they held us up on the tip of a toothpick, like a spaghetti meatball at the end of a toothpick, maybe falling off into someone's ball sack. I don't know. Oh, something was going on here with a meatball on a toothpick, Joe. It was serious. And
It was serial.
it was very serial, and they made people wait. These are the kind of cliffhangers I hate, when they just finish it off. In fairness, one of the greatest cliffhangers of all time in a television series, and yes, I'm going to hijack the Walking Dead stream to talk about anything but The Walking Dead. Star Trek The Next Generation, the best of both worlds episode. Star Trek Next Generation, a great series. I'm not going to talk shit about it, but one of the big moments that often gets talked about, and spoiler alert for Star Trek The Next Generation, is at the end of season 4 into 5, I believe it is. Picard gets turned into a Borg, and
Nuh-uh.
yes, and Riker is forced into a situation where he has to fire and try to destroy the Borg cube that has Locutus of Borg there. And the big cliffhanger for the end of the season, and the thing that some argue made Star Trek The Next Generation in the Berman era of Star Trek an actual hit, was this cliffhanger that left people off on the wonder how Riker was going to destroy, how this situation was going to end. The next episode happened, and within the first 5 minutes of the episode, like the first 30 seconds of the episode, I think Worf turns to Riker and goes, "We can't fire, sir. They've disabled our weapons." And then like that whole tension is all defeated in a matter of 2 seconds. And then it's another pretty decent episode, unlike this, but it's a pretty decent episode in the Next Generation. But I don't like cliffhangers like that. If you're gonna build something up over the course of whether it be a week or a whole season, the payoff better be fucking worth it. It better be something that really knocks me off the balls.
And that's what they tried to do with the baseball bat and Negan in the first place. It doesn't work.
And no, they could have done that if they did it the right way.
No, it does. No.
Yes. So your speculation is that cliffhangers never work ever.
No. You want your at this point, yeah. Yes, Phil. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
No. Fair enough. So in this
straight yes. Because here's the thing. You want your audience to really be like, "Oh my fucking god. Killer."
No,
otherwise, what's the fucking point?
Otherwise, shut the
Killer and make your audience fucking speechless for a week and come back like, what the fuck?
No, in fairness, Joe, I do go to the adage of WW Vince VG would do. What would Vince Gilligan do in that situation? And he would fucking kill him. And
right at the end of the episode, killer, yeah, big deal.
Big deal. And your cliffhanger is how do these people deal with it in the next episode?
Yep.
I would disagree with you that they never can work. I think if they're done in a smart,
give me one that works.
In a smart way,
give me one that works.
Don't put me on the spot like that. I'll come.
Okay, give me one that works that's been done in the last 10 years. I'll even give you 20 years. Take movies too.
Can you give me a week?
Nope.
Then give me at least I'm in the middle of a recap, Joe. I can't just pause the recap and start Rolodexing my mind.
Help Phil out. Give him a cliffhanger that worked. That really had you sitting.
No, help Joe.
Like, oh,
help me out by shutting.
What's gonna happen?
Help me out by shutting up Gene Siskel over here, okay?
Give me one.
So.
Fucking one.
Listen, Siskel. Okay, so we're on a train car. So the episode opens up into some darkness. Maggie fights her way out of a situation pretty easy, and she kicks one, she shoots one, she rides one, she goes up, down, all around, she spins around. So let's go in the live chat. Remember how long we waited for episode 16? Who are you, says Negan. Riker fires the super weapon. It fails because the Borg's cards move, because Locutus of Borg knows them, and that's why he was able to kill Sisko in the Sisko's ship and kill Sisko's wife. Okay, we're not going to talk about Deep Space Nine right now because Joe's just going to bring up Babylon 5. Lizard says, cliffhangers work as long as I can remember them before commercials take too long and I forget to care anymore. Anyone remember Annie's rant from Misery about cheap cliffhangers? I actually do remember that. I do remember that. That's great. There's no. I would say of all the Stephen King adaptations, and there's obviously people can say Shawshank, but of like the true Stephen King like horror movies, I think Misery is probably my favorite. I think there's other ones I like, but I think Misery is just such a perfect movie. Like it's a perfect representation of the book too. And it's great. Both actors, James Caan and Kathy Bates, do an extremely amazing job. And as I continue my process of talking about anything but this episode, so we open up and Maggie kicks her way out of the situation. I will compliment The Walking Dead on one thing here, or a couple things along the way in this episode, that if they were going to do this in this particular episode with the Maggie shit, at least they got it out of the way in literally the first 2 minutes of the episode. Then we got into our theme. They didn't stretch it out that long in the episode. They didn't make it seem as she was going to pop up at the end and be Chekhov's Maggie at the end somewhere. They pretty much got to the juice of what they wanted to do pretty quick and have Maggie walk in the door. We'll get into how that all happens and how stupid it was when it came together. But I do like how they at least brought us to a head quick, you know, instead of making us feel like Jerk Off Jones there for a little bit and not come.
Jerk Off Jones.
But you know what I'm saying? Like at least they got it all out of the way at the beginning of the episode is what I'm saying. Okay, so Eugene just bothered me in this episode. Okay, so we're on the train car. They all enter from the roof and they kill some walkers and they see if they can open the door. Gabriel looks at the situation like he's the leader. Still no words come. Negan's there and he looks around. People ask where Maggie is and Negan says right behind me. Aiden, I think that's that guy's name, Aiden, wants to go out and check, and the rest of the dudes say she'll be pissed if you go out and die. Or she'll be pissed, just stay in here. Gabriel formulates a plan and they bust out, or they try to, and they're going to keep going or die trying. Here we go. A good edit. They do an edit from one of the dudes busting the door, Joe, and they flash to the Daryl story, which I don't get it. I'm sorry. If you're going to have a fucking B story, have a B story that makes sense. What was Daryl discovering down there looking in the catacombs and seeing all those pictures where we see the king, we see all that stuff? How is that different than what we saw last week?
He just had to go run after Dog instead of stay with the group.
Right, why?
I don't know.
Shouldn't there be a fucking purpose to it? I don't want to.
So Daryl wasn't there to be like, kill Negan now with Maggie.
Sure.
When, yeah.
I know you're not trying because you can't really think of it. Keep trying. No, it was stupid. It was fucking stupid. It made no sense. I thought last week I joked, oh, this is Daryl's one-off storyline for the week. It's so he could come back at the end and have that scene when he's shooting everyone with the gun like friggin' Liam Neeson, where we got Daryl's Liam Neeson moment where he goes, bam, John Wicky, Liam, bang, 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 I'm gonna kill everybody because I'm Daryl and I'm cool. And here's a little promo for my sequel series that's coming out pretty soon on AMC Plus, coming everywhere, motherfuckers.
Yeah, Atari Dad, all those train cars have windows that pop out in case the train rolls. There's pop-out windows on both sides.
Not these, Joe.
Exits.
These are death chains.
They're called emergency exits. They're in planes, trains, buses,
automobiles,
all that shit. You know,
Joe.
I'm thinking this the whole time too. Why haven't they just popped out one of the side windows? Have someone start banging at the door to draw the attention. Everybody sneak out the side and go. Like, what the fuck's the problem here? Throw a couple flares to keep them distracted, like you tried to do at the front of the train. Like,
Negan says,
what the fuck is the problem?
Negan says the Reapers remind me of the Terminus people. I hope so. This group that we're looking at right now, I'd say if anything is the best part of the episode, legitimately, I feel like the group that they met at the end of the episode at least seemed to be very menacing and have a little bit of a vibe to them that's a little different than some of the other groups that we've seen. I know Joe's thinking
they were all wearing masks. Yeah. Hockey masks.
Yeah.
They killed the person right off the bat, and then like
right. There was no fucking around, and they just killed. And it's a good parallel to the group that we've seen at the with the community.
They were coming. Like,
it seemed like it.
They seemed pretty ready.
They seemed pretty ready.
Of like how many people? Like, were you expecting someone else, or were you guys were expecting us?
Maybe they were spying on them for a while. So Daryl should have kept that infinite ammo gun. Yes, he should have.
Well, again, it sure does make the subway look like it was there as a recent mass burial, not a
Not
other type of.
yeah, not since the beginning, like was speculated for a while. So continue into this recap a little bit, and yes, Negan, he definitely should have kept the forever ammo gun. Why did he drop that? I'll never know. Tracy G says, I'm watching the show now. How long is this story Maggie's gonna tell take, and what the hell does it have to do with this boy dying? I can't wait to get to that part, but just to preempt that a little bit, Tracy G, it reminded me a lot of the scene in Gremlins when Phoebe Cates hijacks the movie Gremlins to give that speech about her dad dying, dressed up like Christmas, dying in the chimney. But we'll talk about that more when we get to it. But that was sort of a ridiculous scene. It was very much like, oh, you're upset about your friend dying? You think that's a horrible death? Oh, I'll tell you about horrible. And then it was like, I want someone just to turn. Negan, instead of agreeing with her in that moment, should have just said, Maggie, that's a great story, but what the fuck's that have to do with anything? So we get the good cutting out. We get Daryl busting through a wall, finding Dog, no problem. It all comes for us as we see. He sees the warnings. He sees some more Cash. This is the second time that we've seen Cash in 2 episodes, and I don't know. And obviously, we see this at the end of the episode, but having been the second time we've seen Cash, I wrote in my notes: is this foreshadowing a currency that we're going to see later?
Well, no. Then they didn't. What's her name say something about? Since you were all pissy about the $2 bill, that must mean you're using currency.
American currency.
You keep strict controls over it, and
so
look, I'm an alpha, not a beta.
So I guess Dog wanted to see all this. We see someone as king. We see some other stuff. We see some drawings, like comic level drawings on the wall. So then we get Yumiko and Princess talking about her brothers probably in the community. And your brother is awesome. He held onto a wallet photo for years. Blah, 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 blah. Princess and her talking about how she's a lawyer. She must mention she's a lawyer 75 different times throughout the last 2 episodes, just to remind you she's a lawyer, so she can bully her way through. Fucking G.I. Joe help me in this world. Ninja Turtles help me in this world. I'm starting to like Princess, and I don't think it's because of the way the character's written, obviously, on this fucking show, but I feel like the actor is giving again, like Negan, an actual living performance on the show, unlike some of the other actors working on the show, which are doing the best with the material they have. I feel like she actually brings some life to the scenes. They don't make sense. It doesn't. It's stupid. It is repetitive. I'll agree with you.
That's the same shit I heard about Eugene.
At one point in time, and then it got stale. I agree, but she could get stale too if they don't. But I feel like she has already more shades to her.
That's the same shit they said about fucking
more characters.
The Emperor, whatever the fuck his name is,
Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine show? Is that who you're talking about? Unlimited power. Is that who you're talking?
Emperor Ezekiel.
Oh no, the king, not the emperor. But it's funny, we do see the depiction of a king at one point in time, and I wonder if that is talking about Ezekiel. So let's
Ezekiel getting mauled by the peoples.
Yeah. I mean, someone calling himself a king. Let's get a few more.
Oh, they gave me some sweet syrup tea. I slept like a baby.
Joe said the evil group all wears yoga pants. Maggie took 6 minutes to tell her story. That never happens to Maggie. She was retelling The Hills Have Eyes. The Commonwealth was all about cash. Maggie makes me cringe, says Emerald. And I gotta say, I was a Maggie fan before she left, but pretty much most of the scenes that they've done with her since she's gotten back kind of make me cringe a little bit as well.
Oh, what? You're not in love with this?
Joe, let me I gotta get a close up on you on that one.
Oh God.
Give me the Maggie look one more time. Every scene, dude, every fucking scene with that look. I liked Princess when I first saw her, said Negan. You better get your shin pants on. Oh look, that's me in front of you. When Maggie told her story, did anyone want Negan to speak up? So when I took an iron to people's faces and beat them with a bat, I did, and that's one of those Negan moments I liked in last week's episode when he starts saying that Glenn died like a doll.
Wouldn't that have been a better story to tell? Like, How about having your eye popped out of the side of your head while some sadistic fuck laughs at
Beats you with a spiked
and laughs at your wife as she's watching?
While he
Maybe
beats you with
that's
a barbed
more
wire.
horrible way to fucking die, right?
So,
Like,
so here comes
what?
here comes Eugene.
Why didn't you tell that story, Maggie? Why didn't you? Fucking idiot.
Oh,
instead, who were we feeling bad for? The 4 torsos that were still alive,
4 torsos.
living women with babies in them? Is that what they were? Or were they dead zombies with babies in them?
I don't know.
Or was it just the one upstairs that?
And
was
I want to
still alive?
fact
No,
check.
That was a zombie.
I want to fact check
what?
Maggie on
What
this
was
story
going on
too.
there?
Don't we have to fact Maggie in this story too? It kind of sounded bullshit.
Was the horrible way to die the way you killed the person that?
So wait, was it a
house?
was it a walker and there was something living inside of it with a second group walkers and there were humans too and they were cutting people's liver?
Like, was it like a walker baby?
It was a walker.
Inside a walker torso?
Yes, he was breeding walkers. He was forming a new breed.
Come on.
Was he crossing it with golden doodles? Golden doodles?
Bitch, how much acid did you take before you stole that man's food?
I think that's what this place is all about that she's taking them to. She's taking them to an acid factory so they can all trip out.
Is this gang here? Is this gang his family trying to kill us because you fucking murdered somebody?
Did Timothy Leary survive the apocalypse? Is Timothy Leary still alive? I don't know. Rest in peace, Ed Asner, by the way. Amazing, making us laugh for and entertain for 50s of years, right up to the most recent years in Cobra Kai. So rest in peace to an amazing actor. Okay, so Negan says Maggie is so dramatic. Apparently Jeffrey D. Morgan disliked that line at first. That is so spot on, Joe. Sanburbia! Oh, I love seeing Sanburbia pop in the live chat, one of the first viewers of the channel. I like the part where Shane betrayed Otis because it showed character dimension. Oh wait, wrong episode. Haven't gone back since Rick left. Great to see you, the guys, though. Great to see you, Sanburbia. As always, buddy. So I think we're on to something. I think there was a lot of acid in this situation. So okay, so Ezekiel's gone. Eugene is got his frowny pants on, and Yumiko wants to speak to the supervisor, and Princess goes, "You want to speak to the manager? This is funny shit." Maybe she just reminds me of somebody like.
Okay, Karen, we'll go get the manager. Right now.
So there's
hold tight. They'll be down in a minute.
The manager will be down here in a minute. Don't worry. You want to talk to the manager? Yes.
I'm your fucking manager, crack.
So okay, so Daryl looks and he finds another $100 bill with some messages on the back from someone named Jesse, something about 3 weeks. Slow music. That slow fucking music I hate when The Walking Dead does.
What do we say? Like, okay, so
it's again
when he finds this room.
I'm gonna play the music.
Anybody else
with
out
it,
there? Tell me that this was not so the Last of Us. Just this subway room that he finds that somebody was living in.
Is The Walking Dead
the way it looked? Like the whole scene looked like The Last of Us. That scene with Daryl crawling through, getting into that. It just reeked of it.
In fairness, Joe, The Last of Us, The Walking Dead's sequel series will be going up against. I know The Last of Us isn't quite zombie; it's something different, but it is going to be going up against that in the same way that the Lord of the Rings series is going up against the Game of Thrones sequel series. So it's going to be interesting to see if The Last of Us just, in the way that The Sopranos did for mafia stuff, kind of destroys all others.
No. Here's the thing.
Destroys all other zombie properties because it's so good.
You mean it's going up against the Carol Daryl series?
Yeah, they'll be airing at the same time.
Dude, first off, the Carol Daryl series, if it's not just called The Walking Dead, what's the fucking point?
It's going to be called The Ongoing Adventures of Carol and Daryl and his other brother Daryl.
And so it's over. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I do not have to keep watching that. If it's not called The Walking Dead, it's done, right?
No, I'm more interested in...
Carol's like way dead in the comic books. Way fucking
I'm more
dead
interested in the Rick Grimes movies and the anthology series that is to come later. Okay, so let's continue with this. They go to the manager and all of that happens. Okay, then we get Daryl looking more $100 bills. We get slow motion, dog cries, a walker's in bed with the Kyle hat. Kyle from South Park hat. I don't know what kind of hat those are called. I'm sure it has a name.
This was such a Last of Us scene. Oh my god, it was so The Last of Us. All
And-
I could think of was The Last of Us. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Phil, you haven't played the game.
I haven't played the game, so I can't tell you you're wrong or not. But
like, throw that shit on fucking easy and play the goddamn game.
And exactly, I love how Princess is just so honest and tells what she wants without hesitation. A do-off of chaos. So dog cries, a walker's in bed, big sounds, into the tunnel, dog goes off again.
That's what people love about Trump too.
Yumiko is waiting for the manager, and the way she talks shit and rushes them out and kind of calls them out on their jobs. It was a kind of cool scene. It was very Matt Damon and Rounders when he's playing poker with the judges. The dude in the beard is assessing. She basically screams and just talks her way into being accepted. And once she says the thing about her brother at the end of all of that, the dude in the red costume comes in, hands her a cup of coffee, and she's in. And at that point, she proved everything she needed to prove, and she is all the way in.
You're a legacy. We already knew about your brother. Your brother's alive. You called it out.
Yeah, your brother's the doctor. Yeah, your brother's probably the doctor that...
Send my name, send my name.
That Ezekiel is saying. So Princess and Eugene, she needs to pee, and she goes to pee, and Princess, again, I know you can laugh at me, make fun of me all the way. Her earnestness, the way the actress plays the scenes, wins me over, because there is not much...
Toilet paper? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that whole moment of... Because if you haven't used toilet paper in forever, and you're shitting out in... You're aqua shitting, or you're shitting with bushes and using leaves and stuff. Like, I've gone camping for a weekend, and then the first time you get back and you forgot toilet paper and you're using fucking, nature shit, and you get back to toilet paper for the first time, or even when you're using that, like, you have to buy the shit at the convenience store because you didn't get real toilet paper, and you have to use that shit that hurts your ass. And then the first time you get the soft stuff again, I get really excited about that. I get too excited about it. That's too much information. But so I can feel Princess's, again, a genuine moment in wait, you got toilet paper? I'm excited about this. And walks off. I genuinely laughed. I genuinely got a smile on my face. And that's what I mean with her and Jeffrey D. Morgan on the show right now, Joe. Not that their parts are written well. What they're doing is particularly interesting from a point of the way the characters are written. I think the actress that plays Princess and the actor that plays Negan are both having a lot of fun on screen. And sometimes they take me beyond the material and let me have fun with them too. And you know what I mean? Like, and I could see it in her. She's like, I'm on The Walking Dead. I'm having a good time right here. I don't fucking know. Like, the actors don't.
I don't care. I don't care that the series is.
They don't care.
Death legs. I don't give a shit.
You think Cousin Oliver cared that the Brady Bunch was getting fucking canceled when he was on there? No, he wanted a fucking job. You think Poochie cared about Itchy and Scratchy on the
No, well, here's the thing. I think Negan thought he was going to save it.
Yes, think Jeffrey D. Morgan, they thought, but that was when they still thought this show was going to be still the biggest thing on television for a long, long time to come. And Negan was going to be the next.
Negan really was the catalyst.
Oh, yeah, he was going to take it into the stratosphere for the show.
But he killed it.
Yeah. It
was a combination of.
It was a lot of things.
Negan and the dumpster happened like at the same time, right? Like,
yes, around
2
the same
weeks apart or some shit.
Similar. No, it was that they did the dumpster. They killed Glenn in a satisfying way. And we've talked about this before. We don't have to derail too much onto the dumpster stuff. But in my mind, they killed him in a really satisfying way, setting up with the interesting thing with, I think the character's name was Nick, because back when I actually learned characters' names, so I remember it a little bit. And walking out on him, allowing him to die. He died like that in an intense way. It set up a lot of tension moving forward on how that was going to work. And then he comes back, and then they kill him like 2 or 3 episodes later with the Negan thing. You brought him back to kill him, where you could have just killed Abraham in the Negan thing and kept Glenn dead. And whatever.
Yeah, but you wanted to set up all this big Maggie drama between him and Negan.
To your point from what you've said a few times, forget about it. It fucking happened. Let's move on. So we go to the stormtrooper takes Princess to the bathroom, whatever. Now we're down in Daryl's hole, and he's tracing some sounds, and he can't do anything because again, I don't believe that Daryl's in any danger in any of this, so I don't see the point of it all.
You got to read Lord Corliss Whitefires.
Joe has a point. You just want me to say it because Joe has a point. Joe has a point. It's like a carbon copy of Last of Us. In that situation, I'd pick toilet paper over my friend, says Negan. I would too. I think I would too, Negan.
Still take your shit buddy with you. Sorry, you just gotta come with me. Stand outside the door while I shit.
Yeah, you gotta always, and still to this day, make sure you have that. Make sure you have your shit buddy.
Don't have to worry, get your shit buddy.
You are so right, Tracy.
Tracy G, thank you so much for the super chat donation. Tracy G, we got a super chat. Let's spin the wheel for Tracy G. Whoa. Let's not spin the wheel for Tracy G because this, I don't know if you guys saw that. Joe can attest to this, and it won't be for long. This apartment it leans in one direction, so it's almost impossible to have the wheel on a steady surface. So let's pretend that it landed on drink, and I'll take a drink for Tracy. Thank you so much for the super chat donation. Much appreciated. And let's pour this drink for Tracy G. Yeah, the Maggie stuff was big in the comics. Everyone, I don't care what you have, what you're drinking, whether it be coffee, water, soda, pop, or something else, please, please, please toast it up for Tracy G, who gives us the super chat donation. And here we go. One more. Wait, let me pass it. Can I get this? Tracy G. Good. I get those. The alerts are fucking working. Yay. Okay. Yep. Good. I got all those fucking stupid alerts going on. Okay. So yeah, it makes no sense. And again, I feel like these two episodes make no sense, but if you had edited them together into a tight 45-minute fucking episode, these didn't need to be two episodes together. Again, I feel like it wouldn't have been a great episode of The Walking Dead, but Joe, give me fucking give me a half an ounce of weed and a fucking good editing system in both of these episodes, and I could edit together a decent episode from this shit. I could edit together if you cut it up the right way and cut things out, and I could have figured something, cut out the Maggie drama and just have him leave her for a second onto a commercial break and back, and then come back in instead of waiting a week, and you cut out half of the friggin' community stuff that you have with the group, and you cut it into, like, simplify it just a little bit. Why are you stretching this shit out? Maybe if you need a B story, you don't go to Daryl, you go back to Alexandria instead of waiting 2 weeks to go back there to after we already heard the thing about the gates possibly being bashed through. You could actually set up some tension at the end of this episode for an actual cliffhanger into next episode where it looks like Alexandria is being attacked. But whatever. And have like a double end where you're getting attacked from two different ends, something we haven't seen, instead of just seeing one group in trouble somewhere, seeing both groups both in like potentially a horrible situation. But whatever. But Phil, advertisers, where the real money from the show is made. And right now
it just keeps going at the end.
We're like Joe, right now we're in the 1977 Elvis tour where the Colonel knew Elvis was about to die and didn't give a shit. And we just like, we got to make as much money on Elvis as possible before he dies on the toilet. So that's what we got to do. He's getting fatter by the day. We got to make some money.
Give him some pills and put him back on
stage. Let's do a Honolulu live special in 1977, and he can do Let It Be. No, we can do Hey Jude. That's what he did. Okay, so we go back in the train. We open the door. Maggie's group sans Maggie moves through, and Negan says, blah, 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 blah. And we hear some knocking on the door, and immediately some guy knows that's Morse code. Okay, I mean, I believe that. We're in this world, and maybe that they've trained with Morse code before, but
it was just SOS.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some part of my brain would know that. I mean,
wasn't attracting any zombies after her.
No, definitely not. Because she's nothing sticks to her. So look at Negan and. Okay, so
much like Daryl. So she learned from the Daryl situation. Just crawl under the dumpster, crawl under the train,
and she's fine. You can't get hurt because the scratches don't hurt people anymore.
She took a different turn than Daryl.
She did. They didn't bump into each other. So she gets in Negan's face and says, "You tried to kill me." And Negan smartassly and very accurately says, "No, I didn't try to kill you. I didn't help you." And then some dude gets in his face and goes, "Fuck you! I'll kill you right now." Blah blah blah. And Negan again smartly points out, "Listen, dudes, you guys all heard. She said she's going to kill me sooner rather than later, and I didn't help her, and I'm the bad guy." And everyone pauses and has a moment where, well, fucking, Well, he's got a point there. Shut up.
Yep.
Shut up. No one wants to see the point. And Lotus. So yes. And then he says, I didn't kill her. And then Maggie, basically after this point in the episode, Negan gets into, I killed Alpha. I did what needed to be done. I've helped this group. What have you done? And Maggie has another chance to kill him, and for whatever reason doesn't. This reminds me a lot of end seasons of Game of Thrones, when Cersei is going around killing every dwarf in Westeros excessively, having the Mountain basically just kill every dwarf she sees on sight, and then she finally has a chance to kill Tyrion twice and doesn't take it. Tyrion's basically like, dude, kill me, I'm right here, and she's like, no. Like, why? You've been trying to kill him half a fucking series. Maggie, you've been talking about nothing but a chance to kill Negan. You finally have an opportunity. You really don't think he's the only one that can get you through DC? Are you fucking serious?
All right.
Come on. No, as Negan said in the last episode, because he's the only one speaking honest truth here. Like, is he the only one that can read a goddamn map? Is he the only one that can do it? You know, whatever. So so then
this was supposed to be so much better. Remember 2 years ago when what's her name took over?
Oh, your favorite. You were so happy too. You were hoping for better days. Oh, that's why you're all up in arms. I dropped the goddamn Lotus is freaking out because I dropped the wheel.
Oh.
So then we get into this scene that we've already talked about a little bit. The kid that walked away in the last episode, and if you don't remember, stole some of the goods and walked away with his friends, is trapped. And in the other car,
then those three split up somehow because they're idiots. Or the other two died somehow. And Negan and Aiden want to let him in at first. And everyone else, Maggie says, no, we don't have time. And then they sit there and slowly watch the group of walkers slowly walk towards this kid with plenty of fucking time to open this door and close it again. They had plenty of goddamn time. Let's not fool. The zombies took down the steel door like it was nothing.
Yeah, so
the hinges and all.
So
they couldn't.
Yeah, so it really fucking mattered, you know. So they didn't have any time to do this, no time. And then of course Gabriel says, "Let it go. He's a coward." Of course, Gabriel, you say that because that's what you did to your whole fucking congregation. You just locked.
You just did this. You just did the exact same thing you did to your congregation. That's right.
They pulled a Gabriel. Of course, Gabriel's supportive of
Gabriel was there to help his team pull the Gabriel.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god! I didn't even think of that, Phil. He has learned nothing.
No, he gets pissed off about it. He's like, yeah, he fucking deserves it. Fuck that. Let it go. Let it go.
No absolution for that one for stealing.
No.
Thou shalt not steal. Your punishment is death.
No, it was so fucked up the way they handled that though. They're just him and Maggie just turned their backs. It was like, no, he's dead already. He's dead, and then it's like you can see the zombie slowly coming, and it's like, no, we have time. We can open this door. We can let him in. It reminded me a lot of the end of Titanic when Rose just lets Leonardo DiCaprio like freeze in the water, and they're like, there's another boat, there's another dresser over there. Why don't you swim over to that one, Jack? No, Rose, I'm gonna hang out here in the water holding your hands this whole time. No, can you move over a little bit? Can we take turns? I'm stealing this from somebody. I think it might have been how it should have ended or something. Maybe we could take turns on the boat. Maybe we can take turns in the cold water for a second. Or whatever. But anyways, they let the kid die. And you actually get an interesting visual where he gets fucked from behind by the walkers and up against the door, which, again, just screamed to me that they started with that shot and then they had to rationalize it. Like, you start with... Instead of starting with like a narrative and figuring out the visuals from it, they started out with the visual like, you know what would be cool? A subway cart. And if we like have them pushed up against a subway cart window getting eaten from behind, how do we get there?
They just wanted to put a subway car in before The Last of Us aired so they could say, we did subways first.
Okay, so Last of Us subway carts play a integral part to the
story.
No,
but there's shit like this subway shit.
Meaning it's something that we'll see. It's something that we'll see early on in the series. Will be subway oriented.
I don't know about early on, but like
Now, Atari Dad says at least King is trying to stay true to the comics to some extent and not pulling out cheap rating stunts for no regard how it could negatively affect the rest of the show. Gabriel won't get into the Commonwealth Haven. Why weren't people swarming the door at the end of the Titanic? That always confused me. Wait, is this the episode where we learn how doors work? So the kid dies, and they all stay and watch for some.
The visual of that, someone said it in the chat earlier, was absolute no intestines, no blood, guts, just like blood-stained undershirt. And then when he even gets up from the fucking pile of zombies, he just doesn't. It looks fucking stupid. It looks really stupid.
It looks so great, Joe. It was.
I'm sorry, but even the effects department was like, "Oh, this is the last season. Why don't we just spend as little as possible and pocket the rest as bonuses?" Deal.
So we go back to the train. Negan's waiting to die, and we go off to Eugene first. And he's walking around like a scared coward boy, and he's going around like, excuse me, everybody. I need to know where my friend Kimiko is. She says she was there. She used to be there. She's not here anymore. Does anyone know my girl Princess? Where is she going either? And they fuck with him. And I'm not exactly sure why they fucked with him like this. If it was just for enjoyment's sake, if they didn't trust him because he was so nervous. So it's almost, again, like you're looking at someone at a poker table and they're like their hands are shaking, so you're going to assume they have a big hand somehow instead of just thinking maybe it's the first time they've ever been in a live poker event and they're scared that they're in public in front of your face. And I think Eugene's just a naturally nervous guy, so his baseline is nervous. And I don't know if they were throwing him with crazy situations to see if they could put him on tilt to get more of a read on what the real situation is, because they had already accepted the other three people into the community. They were just sort of waiting on Eugene. And I'm not exactly sure the rationale behind that. My guess is that he rubbed people the wrong way because he's off-putting and awkward.
You hear the way that motherfucker talks?
Yeah, Joe, I know exactly how it talks. Listen, Joe, the square root of -1 is 1,238,5,000. And I remember Mike Tyson's code back in 00737355963. That's how you fight Mr. Tyson. And I can beat him too. Yes, I do know.
Gosh.
I do know how he talks, Joe. So it's like the writers wanted to kill Gage in any way possible. Eugene is confirmed to be an introvert, so that makes sense. Rick Grimes couldn't even save this train wreck, says Jason Voorhees. So we go back to the train. Negan's wanting to die. Maggie comes over, and Gabriel asks Negan, why so serious? And he says bad memories, as we know it's sort of a flashback to the Negan episode. Gabriel asks of what? He says, whatever. Then Aiden says everyone look at him. Even though they ended the last scene with everyone looking at him anyway, somehow he's like, you guys don't want to look at him. No, they looked at him, but you can only look so long. Where are they just going to watch the zombies digest every little drop of him? But whatever.
Right?
They're like, take a look at him.
Man, you see his eye pop out?
Dude, he's eating it like bonbons right now. What the fuck's he doing? So Gabriel, and this...
7 years in, you've seen one person get eaten by a zombie. You've seen them all. Come on now.
And this was the biggest douchey moment of the whole entire episode for me. When Gabriel, out of nowhere, Aiden's like, look at him. He's dying, blah, blah, blah. Don't you guys feel a little bad or whatever? And then Gabriel turns to him and goes, he died a coward.
Yep.
So again, Gabriel, such a warm individual. So warm. And Aiden says, and this was something small that bothered me because it just wouldn't be a thing in the zombie apocalypse. And you might say, and I'm saying this to Joe, you might say I'm nitpicking here, but Aiden then says to him, Gabriel, that's a hot take. Listen, when the zombie apocalypse started, how many years ago now in this world? 10 years ago?
Uh-huh.
The terminology of using the term hot take to say something that's, not popular didn't exist. That's 2019 to 2020, 21 lingo expression, hot take. Joe thinks Anthony Hopkins is overrated, or whatever, or hot take. I don't really like Friends or something, whatever. Like, that's more of a modern day expression. So if stuck in a zombie world, there's no reason why Aiden would use parlance of the times of saying something like, "Oh, that's a hot take," and Walking Dead has stayed away from that. It's not like someone goes, "What's up?" That's the equivalent of saying "What's up" in something that's set in a time in the 90s that wasn't supposed to have ever seen that. So I guess we're just supposed to say through the natural progression of time, even in the zombie apocalypse, the term hot take has become a thing. Hot take became a thing in the zombie apocalypse. I know that's so minor, but for whatever reason,
They're gonna mention TikTok videos at some point.
Exactly. Someone's gonna say, "Are you wearing TikTok
Don't
pants?"
you miss your TikTok videos?
So wait, TikTok existed at the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. It's gonna be like Star Trek tech that it just keeps like amping up.
Right. They had TikTok then, but they didn't have zombies. They didn't have a name for zombies.
Oh, Peter Griffin. Glass Joe was one in 99. Who is that one? The one person that Glass Joe beat was the first fighter. I forget his name, but he's the first fighter in Super Punch-Out. And you can find this out in the Punch-Out comic book, I believe, or it's in the instruction manual. The only person that Glass Joe ever beat he's the guy that Glass Joe actually trained, was trained by, which is the first boxer in Super Punch-Out, the Super Nintendo version of the game. And it's a fucked up story where Glass Joe beat him. So there's that. Or it's some other big like a really good boxer. Phil's right. According to Wikipedia, the term hot take gained traction in 2012, 2 years after the fall. Thank you for doing them. Thank you for giving me receipts on that, Atari Dad. I wanted to not be my head up my ass on that one because it actually kind of bothered me for a second. I was like, why is he saying hot take unless he's in modern times? Next thing he's gonna say.
Katie too. She even like said it back. She was like, what?
Hot take? Come on. Unless he's talking about Geraldo's show Hot Take or something.
Right.
There are a few examples of that throughout the franchise, especially in that crappy World Beyond spinoff, without even trending on social media, Corliss. Twitter in the zombie world would be great. Aiden is looking at him and gave. Okay, so then Aiden says, "That's nothing worse than dying that way." And then Maggie, and I said this before when you walked away a little while ago, Joe. We get this scene with Maggie, which straight up reminded me of the scene in Gremlins with Phoebe Cates when she tells the story about her father dying in the chimney dressed like Santa Claus. It like cuts in the middle of the episode. It comes out of nowhere. The story doesn't really have relevance to the situation. Like, what's her point? That there's worse ways to die? How does that mean that the way that this dude died isn't bad? She talks about they went to there's a house with food, an old man that had clothes, and she knew she was going to get robbed, but she went with him anyways, and she stopped him from chloroform.
No. She followed him. She didn't go with him.
Okay, and then he tried to chloroform her, and she stopped him.
No.
Chloroformed
she
him.
attacked him and found the rag in his pocket with chloroform that was gonna be used on her, supposedly.
Okay, so she got to the house and she said there were 3 deformed, she wouldn't call them men, that came after her, and she handled them. Okay, so this is
men. Did she say men or?
She
human?
said I would not call them men. So my question to you, Joe.
So what was in their bellies?
No. This is my question. Are those 3 deformed, not call them men, the same things in the attic she talks about? Because the way the story plans out, it seemed like there were 2 different things. She says...
I don't know.
She
the
comes
thing up
in...
the attic was pregnant?
Yeah, because these 3 deformed, not men, I think are different.
I don't know. The story was fucking stupid. And it was stupid. It was just like, let me tell you a horror story in the middle of a horror story. What?
And I was watching...
it was a
Wouldn't you have rather...
ghost story.
Do you know what I was thinking when I was hearing her story, too? I was thinking that this sounds like a lot more interesting than what I'm watching. Like, why can't I see this? Why can't I see this situation? Why are they telling me about that?
She just describes it because they were like, we're not going to film this. We're going to split the budget and bonus the checks.
Okay, so she
fucking unreal. It was so
she
stupid.
says there were 3 deformed. I would not call them men. They came after me.
You know what we haven't had enough of in this series?
Ghost stories.
What the fuck?
Beetlejuice. Okay, so the house.
Candyman.
So the house was quiet. The house was quiet except for the attic, and there was a thud. So what the story? It seems like she says that she came in, she handled the 3 deformed men, and then the house was all quiet, and then she heard a thud in the attic. So there was more. So it wasn't just these. So there were 3 not deformed men that were probably right before they became what they were in the attic, or maybe she feeds the deformed men to the zombies, and that's what was alive in the belly.
Something was alive in their bellies.
No, that's later. No, that's later, Joe. Wait, let me finish the whole story then, okay? So then she gets to the house. The whole house is quiet except for the attic. She hears a thud. She goes up, and she thinks she's about to save some people, and then they fall down on the foot of the stairs. It's rocking. She thought it was an animal, but it was a walker. She says it's a walker. Used to be a woman.
No arms, no legs.
Arms and legs stitched up. There's a gash. I don't want to talk about her gash. There was stuff in her belly. Something was trying to get out in her belly. There was a heart still beating. So my guess is that they took the still living corpses of living people and they put in somehow feeds like.
No. That was a woman that just cut off her legs.
But wait.
Alive, living woman.
Before she said it was a walker.
No.
She said it was a walker.
No, she said it was a...
No, Maggie... this is why I wish I got the audio. Maddie, and I listened to this twice. Maggie legitimately says, it was a walker. Used to be a woman. And then right before that, she said, there were 3. I wouldn't call them men. This is very confusing. My point is, it's very confusing. And
it was stupid. Don't call it confusing. Call it stupid.
It's stupid. It's stupid and confusing. So there's some wheezing and there's some belly. She took care of him, and she took care of 3 more upstairs. So that's 6 or 7 things.
Like I said, she ate some fucking poison mushrooms or some fucking bad acid before she went into that fucking poor man's house. Some poor man who was like, let me help you. Or if you help me, I can help you when we get back to my house. She was like, no thank you, we're going to go on our way. Then followed him back, conked him over the head, made up some story about there being a rag, and like killed his fucking poor little gimpy children that he was just trying to fucking clothe, and his like and like his like, I don't know.
Now Atari Dad says chloroform, more like boroform. And 3 deformed men and pregnant women in the attic, says Lizard. It was the hills have eyes, says Atari Dad. Why in the hell is Beth on The Talking Dead? Is she coming back on the show? Oh my God, Beth's on The Talking Dead. Finally, does Maggie care about Beth? They just want to have Maggie give her screen time somehow, so they give her this big long monologue. That was, you're right, Negan. Negan, no one cares about Beth. Maggie doesn't even care about Beth. So, but Negan, you're right. They probably promised Laurie Cohen like this big long monologue if she came back. So they had to write her some stupid ass shit. So okay, so this random gremlin story. She does find food. Then she walks up to Aiden and she could have just said this. She goes, "I don't feel anything. When I tell you that. So I don't give 2.
I'm numb down there.
Yeah, I don't give 2 fucks about this dude that died in there." Because his death doesn't matter. Because what matters is protecting Hilltop and Alexandria. And I know that guy was a resident of Hilltop and Alexandria, but fuck him. Because he walked away from us. Because I brought us on a death mission and he thought better of it and walked away. How dare he think better of it? And then Negan cuts in and smartly, being a master manipulator, knows the absolute right time and knows somehow by trying to kill Maggie, he's on her good side now. And Negan says, We're lucky. No one has anything figured out. No one ever will. And apparently she doesn't want to kill him anymore. And she kind of looks at him like she thinks he's awesome. Like there's a I'm sorry. There was like a moment where they almost set up like they have some like sexual chemistry there. I don't know if they're leading in that direction, but there was something there. So we go off to down the hole with Daryl and Dog, and he's being chased by a walker with no tension. The shot is decent, but the show has earned no luxury for me to think that Daryl could be into trouble. I've said that all episode.
All series?
Pretty much all series. He starts using a mace, which is really fun from a visual.
Come on.
But it only lasts 2 seconds. It only lasts 2 fucking seconds.
And it's gonna hurt you. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Not Daryl.
Everybody.
Not Daryl.
Everybody.
Not Daryl.
Yeah, swing some nunchucks, dude.
Oh, I've tried. How do you think I have this on my face right now, Joe? How do you think my face starts looking like this? I remember when she left and she came back because no one else. Beth Negan says, "Remember when Beth left and she came back because no one else wanted her?" You could say
it was just like Marsha, not Marsha, Jan, like ran away and came back because nobody was looking for her.
Yeah, they got the fake Jan for a little while, and then Jan Brady came. Oh, it's funny. Life meets art there. The actress that plays Jan also left for a while when they were doing like the stage show, and then she came back for like the Brady Girls Get Married. I'm thinking He's All That would have been a better watch tonight. The She's All That remake. I thought about watching that the other night. So he starts using a mace. Dog takes one down. He clears two. And then C. Thomas Howell comes running out saying he lost the ammo bag and tells him, kill me and tell my kids I don't die a coward. And then they just cut it off. They didn't even like follow up on the scene. They just sort of cut it off, and he gets up and somehow survives this. Yep. And it just walks along with Daryl.
Was that him with the bandage on his face
at
the end that gets shot?
Yeah, Jim.
That was that same guy?
Yes.
So he didn't die. Daryl killed off all the zombies that were there, and he laid there on the ground and didn't help, and then he's just walking along 5
somehow
minutes later.
He waited and did something while Daryl boarded the train.
Anybody see the kid or the other guy that came with me when we got lost and stole your ammo and all that? No? All right.
So off to the big guys trying to bust out a train, and nope, it's blocked as the walkers are finally getting the door open. And then apparently they're gonna have to clear anyway, and it would have been
instead of using the big sledgehammer on one of the fucking windows.
No, they're trying to bust through a metal door instead of the windows. Of course.
Fucking stupid.
That's one of those
fucking
things.
Stupid.
That's one of those things that I didn't even think about because
pull the emergency fucking lever on the windows, guys.
Because
the emergency lever.
Because they want to get to the other side of it anyway, so it doesn't really matter if they bust what they bust through.
It's so stupid.
Oh my god, that's so stupid. What isn't stupid is we get a cool fisheye camera on Gabe, and I also love how they wait for them to bust through the door. One at a time, and we get the one shot never miss team. Literally, this team is like never miss. And the team
always perfect aim.
And then we get some stupid dark piano music that makes everything seem foreboding, where nothing bad actually happens. But the dark piano music almost sounds like a Pink Floyd song at one moment, like the beginning of like a song from The Wall or something, which isn't a bad thing musically. Like musically onto itself, I would listen to it, but it clashed with the scene that was going on. It wasn't action music, and it made it seem really dull and confusing.
It was dull. It was confusing.
It's shit on a stick, Joe. So we got some space, and they're coming from both sides. Maggie gives Negan a gun, and he goes to the other side, and they're coming from all angles. Negan doesn't miss. No one misses, and they're all backed up together, but there's just too many of them, and Daryl's making his way in, and he drops his bow and arrow, and now it's time for Daryl to use a gun. I don't know if this is the only time we've ever seen Daryl use a gun, but they made it seem like it was such a big deal with a change in music to all this, like,
cinematography change with the camera on tracks outside the
you noticed that they shifted the scene where they suddenly put in this almost like victory march music with Daryl bump to the bump bang.
Here comes your hero, everybody.
Exactly. And you're right, they put it on like a tracking shot to the side and did this like panning shot across the train from the outside while Daryl was walking through. That was done in the fucking Money Train, way better with Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. And that movie came out 75,000 years ago. So they backed up. Daryl saves the day. He gets everyone out, busts them out, and Daryl holds off all the walkers and throws a grenade that he got from C. Thomas Howell, and then all of the walkers explode in the other cart, and we get a disgusting like all of them are blown up by one grenade. That's a really powerful grenade.
Yep.
And did you like the grenade shot, Joe, where all our walkers? That was something new. No. So no. And it seemed to kill everyone. We go back to Eugene, who's making a shiv in the Commonwealth, and he's so scared it's annoying. And he asks, where's his friends? They're being processed. We're talking about bologna processing or regular processing. Dude asks him if he likes feeling nervous. And Eugene's like, no, I don't like feeling nervous. I never like feeling nervous. And he asks him to tell him the truth again. And this is where Eugene admits that he lied about a lot of things. He basically did this all not to protect his friends. He did it all to get laid for the very first time, which is the most believable scene we've had in The Walking Dead in a very long time. And I also enjoy Eugene. This is when I started to like Eugene a little bit in the episode, because I also like the line like, I haven't performed the act many times, but I've watched it several times. So he just straight up starts, admits to his voyeuristic tendencies, which I enjoy. And then he talks about this thinking that this girl Steph would be the one to take his virginity. So then we come back to Eugene, has his head covered. He's bringing into a house, and he's brought into a room with all of his friends, and they're all happy. They're legacies. They're welcome into the Commonwealth. Dude comes in, gives them their walking papers to be allowed to be honored residents of the Commonwealth, and they're all together, and it's all awesome. And at the end of the episode, we meet Stephanie and Eugene have a moment where they get together. And Joe, I got a little tear in my eye.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. I did because I got like a piece of hair in my eye at the same time.
You never.
So Daryl's back with our crew, and he's talking about the $100 bill. Negan gives the gun back to Maggie.
He stuffs it in his glove. He's going to keep it.
He's going to keep that because it's going to connect to the Daryl sequel series.
Oh my God, it's so stupid.
It's that stuff before the zombie apocalypse.
That dollar bill note meant so much to him. We're going to get a flashback at some point where he left a note for somebody on.
We're going to get a $100 bill, flashback episode. I bet we will. So we get Negan makes eye contact with Maggie as he hands the knife back to give her. We're all right, aren't we? We're all right. And she asks him if she says we need to go to this area where we can restock and spend the night and get more weapons and food and such. And she says, Negan, it's where this something is, where an antenna is. Do you know where that is? Negan says, I do know where that is. And they're all cool. C. Thomas Howell is still alive. As I mentioned to Joe earlier, we see him in the scene. He's walking down the street with the group, and they're walking up and down, and someone shoots him with an arrow, and I bet he survives that somehow too. But,
right, and his other eye now.
Yep, and they all fall down, and
then somebody's leg gets fucking.
I think it might have been Aiden's, but was not sure. And he gets dragged off, and then our heroes look like they're in major danger with a group that looks fearsome and scary. Oh
my God, they're all wearing hockey masks. And
they kind of looked like orcs to me. Actually, they looked like the fighting Orcai from Lord of the Rings. And that is the end of our episode. An exciting conclusion.
22 only another 22 hours of your life gone.
I'm sure we'll get an episode that's longer than an hour, Joe. And that's our final episode. That's our final episode of The Walking Dead. That's our final point of this episode of The Walking Dead. And I'm going to just let's talk about this a little bit. A couple of things I want to talk about with The Walking Dead in general, Joe, without just saying it's stupid. Now, one thing I think is stupid that AMC is doing.
What?
I'm just kidding. One thing I think is really stupid that AMC is doing is we don't actually talk about the episode right after it airs. We're actually a week behind.
Yep.
AMC is selling their shitty streaming service by allowing people to watch their episodes a week ahead of time.
Yep. And
defeating the purpose, even though some of these, they know these episodes are shit. My point is, if they knew this series, and I know they want to sell their streaming system because there's so many streaming systems.
They shouldn't be using this series.
They should be making it like appearance television watching, because what you're doing is you're taking that small percentage of people that's still loyal and passionate, that still drink Walking Dead Kool-Aid, that don't watch us, but that drink the Kool-Aid of The Walking Dead. You're having them all watch the episode a week ahead of time. So when you come around to the time when the episode airs, you're missing all the buzz. So, and no one's talking about it.
Buzz.
There's no internet buzz. No one talks about episodes of The Walking Dead right after they air because people have already seen episode 3. Right now, I could go online right after this. Joe and I could go watch a pirated version of it if we don't want to go buy AMC Plus and go watch a pirated version of episode 3 right now. It's already out. And we're sitting here talking about episode 2, Back in Time. What I might do is once I move, I might make Joe come over and we're actually going to watch the episode that gets aired and like talk about it a week ahead of time or something, just so we can be at the actual new episode. But because I don't think it really matters, but for me it would mean that we're a week ahead of time. But maybe I'll purchase AMC Plus briefly or something or try to
so we can watch it and then do a podcast. All right.
We
would have been doing
Joe, purchase
3.
it. Purchase it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I do think it's interesting that that basically every episode that airs now is a week old news. And in the entertainment landscape that we live in right now, to air something to the main audience that is already a week old for the reviewers and for the buzzy-worthy people that put shit out, it's a mess. It's just a fucking mess. A couple of days early is one thing. Like if you release the episode on Saturday to the people that have the streaming service, or earlier in the day on Sunday, maybe even, it would be all right. But you release it the whole episode a week ahead of time.
Yeah.
I just think that's stupid.
It is stupid. Put the whole season out or not.
Yeah. Lizard says, I'm obviously unclear, but my dog of a similar breed barks with anything within 1/4 of a mile. Why does dog not do his job?
Agreed. Every dog in the world.
He only does it when he wants to. I don't wear hockey pads. Phil, AMC got the idea from Disney Plus, but even Disney Plus is smart enough to just release shows on Disney Plus themselves because they don't have a brick and mortar station to release stuff on. And there's certain
not a Disney Channel.
Not in the sense that not in the sense that new shows on Disney Plus aren't Disney Channel shows. Like they're not going to have like Loki and WandaVision on the Disney Channel. Disney Channel's kids shit, you know. And not that those shows aren't general audience shows, but they're not kids shows. It would be equivalent to, and maybe HBO is going to do this, that if HBO releases for The Last of Us or the new Game of Thrones series, releases the episode a week ahead of time on HBO Plus before they put it out on the HBO channel.
Stupid.
It would just be stupid. Like, again, maybe if you want to do it an hour ahead of time, a couple of hours ahead of time,
They're trying to think outside the box, Phil.
They're trying
to be competitive in a competitive market.
Fuck
Phil.
that bullshit. That's fucking stupid, and it's ruining my buzz. It's ruining our buzz, Joe. It's confusing us.
Their buzz,
yeah,
sure.
it's ruining. Yeah, I could give a shit about them. No, it's ruining. It's because we're doing week old news, Joe, and I don't like it.
Did you see the show? No, man, I don't pay for AMC. I get AMC for free with my cable.
Yeah,
but you get to watch The Walking Dead
early,
a week early. Oh,
okay,
wonderful.
But my question is,
money to watch that show
my question is ahead of time, Joe, because this leads a dangerous point here. Vince Gilligan better not let this AMC do this shit. You know they're suggesting it. We could do this with Better Call Saul too. You better not fucking do it with Better Call Saul. I will fucking have a conniption because I'll have to get it. I'll have to get the fucking AMC Plus because I'm not gonna want to not watch that a week ahead of time. And then they've got me by the fucking balls. You fucking.
I won't do it. I won't play along. I won't play along.
I won't. No, you'll come to my house and watch me play along.
No, won't do it.
Douchebag.
I'll make you wait to talk about it still.
You're a douchebag. Okay, Oakley says, hi, Phil. I don't watch this show, but I saw you streaming live, so I just wanted to say hi because I haven't been able to join your stream in a long time. It's okay. We're done talking about that. We're going to babble for a few more minutes here and then call this a stream. Any other topics you have besides The Walking Dead, we're open for discussion right now. Atari Dad says, quick note, Lord of the Rings is going to be a dumpster fire. So much production drama. Yeah. The preeminent Tolkien scholar left the series and stayed on for all 3 Hobbit movies. Think about that. I'm holding out hope for it in the sense that I like some of the people that are working on it behind the scenes. They're like Brian Cogman. I think he does a decent job with television. But you're very right. It probably is going to be a dumpster fire. If it wasn't for Amazon's recent success in series and having like a pretty good track record recently, I wouldn't be as hopeful as I am. But I understand the apprehension. It's probably going to be a dumpster fire, but coming off the last bunch of Amazon stuff I've watched, I've really liked. but they've all generally been from the same production house. So this isn't from that production house. This is from Amazon proper. What I'm talking about is like The Boys and Invincible and The Tick and Marvelous Miss Maisel and like all those shows that are really well done.
Did you watch Jean-Claude Van Johnson?
I haven't, but I bet it's awesome. I bet it's fucking amazing. Oh, I have watched one episode of Jean-Claude Van Johnson. I have. It's like he's like an old retired spy and
actor,
shit. Spy actor type thing. Yeah, I had watched it. Great fucking show. I was confusing it with JVD, which I've also seen as well. Negan, say my name. No, Phil, I was talking about Black Widow on Disney Plus. No need for theaters. I agree. Everything is subscription and everything has news first. Eventually, we need a $5 subscription for everything. It's heading in that direction. I've never thought I'd say this, but I long for, in some ways, the early 2000s landscape when cable was still the main thing for most people and only a few people knew about streaming, or people were steal streaming with like TV links and the original Hulu and
YouTube.
And YouTube, you could actually find stuff on YouTube, and before it was bought by Google, and you could, and Daily Motion had shit too, and you could basically watch any show you wanted with a little bit of creative finding it, and it took a little effort, but you could find it and not get a virus, not get your computer computer shingles, and also, but now it's just I said this a couple of years ago, and it's already happening. With all these streaming services, it's already worse than cable was at the end, because to watch everything eventually now, where there was a point in time where you could kind of, pay for one cable subscription. Now you have to get all these different apps. And there's going to be shows that are just NBC plus specific.
But here's the thing too, though. But for a lot of people,
got to get CBS to watch the Lower Dark.
6 channels ever.
It's true, but I'm more show centric than channel centric. So if there's something I want to watch, like Star Trek Lower Decks, for instance, I have to pony or Survivor right now because I don't have fucking CBS anywhere else. I have to pony up.
And when you stream, though, everything goes so quick. You're done with content so quick.
But with like an app like CBS All Access, the Paramount app, you can watch CBS live television. So I can watch fucking my Survivor live or watch the fucking Star Trek thing. So, but the point is, you can purchase it and own it for a brief month and then watch it. Right now, I don't even have an AMC subscription or it on any cable service. What I'm doing is watching a hijacked version of it on my PlayStation 4 on the browser on one of those, on like Putlocker, and knowing that it's already posted because it's posted the week before. So I end up being able to, watch it without commercials right before we do the podcast. So hypothetically, if I was that kind of person.
Right.
There's still a lot of good free streaming sites that are virus chests, but with a good enough security. Yes, and I know them. They're like TV Duck, channel 111 or whatever it is. Question. Hey guys, has Joe read Why the Last Men, and will you guys review the TV series FX has picked up? Thank you for all you guys have do.
What TV series?
Joe, have you read Why the Last Man?
No.
And no, I assume the TV series on FX is called Why the Last Man. Atari Des says, movies are on the way out. Everything is going to be serialized. It's more cost effective than blockbusters. I hope so, in the sense, but as long as blockbusters are still making money and people are still going out to see them, you're going to still see studios make those sort of things. But I hope that they get back to, if you're going to see films, you can get back to more creative, smaller films that you have more interesting things happening, because I have nothing against blockbusters, but I miss the time when you get blockbusters and big dramas or big comedies in certain time periods. See the new Star Trek in production? Oh, the new Star Trek 4 is in production. Is this the Quentin Tarantino?
Is that going to be the Quentin Tarantino one?
I hope so.
Because if it's not, then no, go fuck yourself.
No, because they didn't let him have enough control. because CBS is a bunch of dickheads, and Star Trek people.
And I'm not saying whoever said whatever about Star Trek.
Kurtzman is worse than anyone that works in the Walking Dead universe. I would watch Bad Batch week to week if it was worth it, but I'm not paying $30 to see Black fucking Widow. There's still lots of good stuff. Movies are on the way out. And great to see Henrietta in the live chat as well. And great to see all of our friends. And
I'll tell you what's worth the subscription price for the month or two that it's on the Lower Decks.
Yes, but it's not. And I've talked about this before with you last week. I definitely enjoy the show. I think it's awesome and it's fun, but it's not a Star Trek series for everybody. I could see people that aren't into a certain sense of humor style not liking it, and that's
too bad for them.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a credit to the series being good or bad. I think humor is different than
some people like Voyager, some people like Enterprise.
But I think you can talk about those series in more of a concrete way on good versus bad.
Because it's animated.
No, because it's comedy. I think comedy is too. You can't tell someone what they find funny. At least I don't feel.
You can't tell someone that the same thing like you're saying about funny. I'm saying about I can tell you. I think, I feel like in a drama thing and in a sci-fi thing, you can more correctly. For me, anyways, maybe you feel differently. I feel like you can analyze those things better than a comedy. Whereas a comedy, you can say that this is funny for me, but someone else I've talked to other people that are Star Trek fans that have watched Lower Decks and go, "This is stupid. I fucking hate this." But here's the thing. There's also
and you know what? We're both right. We're both right.
There's also people that love drama and love sci-fi that won't watch Star Trek at all.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing about funny.
Right, but I'm saying like
it's drama that's the difference. Sci-fi drama doesn't cut it for them, or this kind of funny doesn't cut it for them.
No, but sci-fi is a style, not necessarily a genre. In the sense of like, because you can get sci-fi funny, you can get sci-fi action, you can get sci-fi drama, like you can get sci-fi in a different tone. I'm specifically talking about the way that like something that's more joke oriented, not necessarily in the genre of it. In the sense of like people, even a show like The Orville, some of it is funny, some of it is serious, just like entertaining sci-fi. And I guess I just think that humor is a tough thing to sell people on. It's something that you can never tell until you see for yourself.
Right,
and
but it still doesn't mean that Lower Decks isn't the best Star Trek show since maybe the original.
I completely disagree with that, but I think
of course you do. Of course you do.
You think it's better than Next Generation, and
well, here's the thing.
I don't think it's better than Orville.
It can't be better than them because
I don't think it's better than the Orville.
So much of their jokes and the funny is based on them, is based on the canon, is based on what came before it, and without that, it of course doesn't play as well. Right, but it still doesn't mean that how it's done and the way it tells its stories and the arc that it gave us wasn't better than almost everything. Like, really, it's really fucking good.
It's
if
decent.
You don't like the humor, it's still got like everything great about Star Trek in it.
No, it's decent. I don't enjoy. Again, I like it. I don't think I like it quite as much as you, but I think it's the second best Star Trek series on television right now, next to The Orville. I think The Orville's a better show.
I like The Orville a lot as well.
And I think this edges it out a little bit. And for sci-fi,
that does not carry. It does not.
Oh, I don't give it. Yes, fuck you. Fuck you.
It does not carry.
Fuck
the
you.
Star Trek brand.
Fuck you.
So
I'll say it again.
Wait. That being said, you're saying it's the best one.
It's the best one on TV right now. Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Shut the fuck up, Joe. It is the best. It is the best one on television right now. And I would also add that I don't know. I think we're having fun arguing about something we agree on. Because I do think both shows are great, and I was just gonna bring Futurama into it, which is another show I think is fucking amazing. It does sci-fi comedy in a cartoon comedy.
has it's so much better than people ever gave it credit for.
Futurama.
And one of the saddest episodes of television ever.
Oh, the one with Fry and his dog. Yeah.
Oh my God, the fucking last 5 minutes of that, you just like my heart.
Dude, I literally just got shivers when you said it. And I would say Futurama is, I would put it on the list if we were making a list of the top 5 to 10 most underrated television series of all time. I would put Futurama on that list because it gets forgotten about because of its Big Brother being so fucking popular, and then all the other animated shows that surpassed it in that era, with South Park and Family Guy becoming institutions, and even King of the Hill at that time too, becoming even more of an institution than it as well. Futurama was almost forgotten about through the mix of time, but it's such a high quality show, and the humor on it is top notch. It's when people say The Simpsons lost its humor, it's because all the best people went to Futurama.
Agreed.
All the people that had any part.
They were like, they don't want to pay us enough. They're paying all the voices and not any of the actual talent that made the show.
Plus, you have Billy West and Joe DiMaggio working on it as the two mains, and with as Fry and Bender and anyways, you just the only, and I say this every time I bring up Futurama, and I don't think it would have mattered either way, but it's the only thing I put over that Futurama on how it could have been even a little bit better is because the guy did an amazing job, and I'm not discrediting his performance because he killed it in this role. But the original part of Zap Brannigan was written for Phil Hartman, and if you were into The Simpsons at the time with Troy McClure and all that sort of shit, you can just see where Phil Hartman might have taken that character. Not like the other guy didn't take it to amazing places, but he would have been an amazing force to have on that show too. That part was tailor-made for Phil Hartman. It should have been, and I think he might have even been even more of a part of the show, and you would have heard his voice mixed with Billy West's voice on commercial stuff. I could just having Phil Hartman as the pedigree on that show too would have just added another thing to it. People give Futurama crap for the Comedy Central years, but it had some great episodes in that era as well. I feel like it was never quite as amazing as the first run, but it was still great. And I even like the movies that they did, the comeback movies, like The Beast with a Billion Backs, and where there's a whole scene where Fry has that whole, if you have sex with yourself, isn't it just masturbation? You travel back in time, and if you have sex with yourself, there's this conundrum. If you're having sex with yourself, it's, it doesn't really count, right? It's just masturbation. But anyways, what got me off Star Trek is that episode of Enterprise where the captain made human beings just to murder him and harvest the organs. That still boggles my mind. What ruined the franchise? I would say what ruined the franchise of Star Trek ultimately was Nemesis. Star Trek Nemesis and Insurrection ruined Star Trek. People want to blame it on Kurtzman, but what got it to the point where we needed J.J. Abrams and Kurtzman to take over Star Trek was Nemesis and Insurrection. They were at a very high point coming off First Contact and Generations. Even though I didn't love Generations, those first two movies garnished a lot of attention and a lot of positive attention to Star Trek. Then they came back with Insurrection, which was a gigantic bore of a movie, which really what killed it, because it was like a giant episode they'd already done. The villains were gross and weird. It was just a weird episode. Insurrection was the moment when you should have brought in Voyager and brought in Deep Space Nine and had the Deep Space Nine cast and the Enterprise cast go bring Cisco out of the wormhole for one last big battle with the Dominion that's back, led by an evil Jemadar or some shit, some big story, or the mixed in with Gul Dukat didn't die in the fire, or some shit, or they need Cisco to rescue Voyager. You do some combination story at that point in time where you bring the three casts together. Instead, they brought it down to a simple story with the Next Generation cast. No one, even the people that love Next Generation, could give a shit less about the Next Generation cast in a soft story situation. I love my Next Generation cast, but other than Data and Picard, I don't give a fuck. Riker is a soap opera actor. Michael Dorn's awesome, but he can't carry a movie. He's not. None of them are Kirk, McCoy, or fucking Spock, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly, or even any of the B actors like George Takei and Doohan and Nichelle Nichols and Chekhov are all big personalities that can carry a scene more than Crusher can or Geordie LaForge in a fucking
every Crusher episode, every
Deanna Troi episode,
they all suck.
except for the one that she turns into a Romulan. It's pretty good. I like that. Your mother sucks. Anyways, everyone, we'll be back. Speaking of sucking, we'll be back next week for yet another episode of The Walking Dead.
Oh God, there's 22 more weeks.
22 more weeks, but we do get a lot of breaks in between, Joe. And I will be back this Wednesday over on Teflon TV with Tony talking a little bit of some Game of Thrones stuff. So join me over there.
What have you guys been talking about on Game of Thrones?
Nothing yet. We've had a long break, but leading up to this, when we were doing something a couple months ago, we were talking about some Winds of Winter prediction stuff. I'll tell you off air what we're going to be talking about because it's still a surprise as of this point to be put out. But a couple of some fun Game of Thrones topics, some House of the Dragon preview content that once we get a trailer, you and me can start breaking that down. And also, I might be on the next evening as well. I will let you guys know about that. But Joe, thank you so much. Hopefully I'll get you to come back on. We can do something soon that doesn't suck. They did announce recently that Cobra Kai got renewed for season 5 before season 4 ever comes out. So I have a feeling that means season 5 will probably be the last one. They like know the end of the story because I can't see them going much further past season 5.
No, it wouldn't make too much sense.
Merle says Insurrection was all right, but yeah, it was a TV movie, and Nemesis was data jumps from ship to ship. Yeah, Nemesis, basically they hired someone that didn't know anything about Star Trek, and they fucked up Nemesis. Again, could have been a good movie. You could have had Patrick Stewart play both parts. I have no problem against Tom Hardy. I like Tom Hardy, but he didn't play a good young Picard. It just made no sense. They're like, let's get a bald guy and say that since he's bald, he's young Picard. And any joke I can make about any of the Star Trek The Next Generation movies, I am just going to pale in comparison to Mr. Plinkett doing it in a Red Letter Media review. So if people haven't checked out Red Letter Media and the Mr. Plinkett reviews of Star Trek The Next Generation movies, shut me off, right? Shut us dumbasses off and check out Red Letter Media, probably the best channel on all of YouTube. Unpretentious, hilarious fucking shit. So check out like me and my fucking measly small channel is gonna tell someone to check out Red Letter Media. But yes, tell them Phil sent you. Like they fucking give a shit. But yes, the best one of the best channels, and really rip apart the Next Generation movies as well. As bad as Crusher episodes are, he's still more tolerable in them because he's not controlling to try to be the center of attention than another character, Sorak. I always thought Geordie could carry a scene well. He can carry a scene well. I think LeVar Burton does carry a scene well. He's probably the most famous actor going into the first season of the Star Trek Next Generation because he had done other things with Reading Rainbow and Roots. But I don't think they do him justice the way they write his episodes. Like, I didn't like that whole episode where he creates the simulation of the girl he has a crush on, or the one where the one where he turns into a lizard thing to talk to his mother or something on a planet, or to talk to the holographic replication of his mother and stuff. Excuse me. The only good Geordie episode for me, like the episode, and I'm sure there's other ones, like the Scotty episode, which was kind of a Geordie episode, was good. The Ro episode when him and Ro die and they're like warped in between people, I thought that worked really well. I thought that was a good episode, and I think he sometimes does get some stuff as well. Rich Evans, even though we're a very, very small YouTube channel over here, our measly little podcast, we appreciate every view that we get. Somewhere, somehow, I have a dream of Joe and Rich Evans watching an episode of The Walking Dead together and ripping it apart. Or watching something, and Rich Evans is kind of your spirit animal, Joe, in some ways. But anyways, I'll play you some stuff when we're done here. But Rich is amazing. LeVar Burton can read. Shut the fuck up, Phil. Okay, on that note, Tim is right. Time to shut the fuck up, Phil. Everyone, thanks so much for checking this out. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Share the channel with a friend. Joe and I will be back next week, next Sunday night, 10:35 p.m. for another episode of this. Hopefully it'll be a good episode. Joe, are you ready for a good episode? Do you think you'll be able to have fun if we actually got a good one?
Hey, I'm gonna keep my expectations low. That way, I'll be pleasantly surprised.
I love it. I fucking love it. Everybody, I would totally create a replication of a person I had a crush on and never leave the holodecks. Me too. I would be in Quark's holodecks every single night, playing every issue of Vulcan Love Slave volumes 1 through 1 billion, and they would all look like what's her name from Enterprise, like the Viana. What the hell was the character's name? T'Pol. Is that her name on Enterprise? T'Pol? Maybe. I'd have like a Dax T'Pol 7 of 9 party going on. I'd be like, but I thought they did that episode better with Barclay when they had him like sword fighting like stupid Riker and all the guys and doing all the fucking crazy shit. So yeah, I don't think they did it justice in that situation. Thank you, Fernandez T. Love you, Fernandez T. I'd follow Rich Evans into anywhere, Fernandez T. Bye, everybody. Have a good week.